So over the past few months on the internet, we've seen multiple content creators blow up overnight. And sadly, their careers didn't last too long, simply because they didn't really know how to manage the fame, or they couldn't stay entertaining long enough for their viewers. In most cases, that's the sad reality of what happens when you blow up overnight. But for one specific creator, he managed to defy all of these odds and turn the overnight success story into a thriving career. But who exactly is this content creator? And what did he do to even blow up overnight in the first place? Well, that's probably what you're here to figure out. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Now, let's dive into one of the rare moments when blowing up overnight actually works out. So to start, the content creator that we're going to be talking about in today's video goes by the name of CaseOh, whose real name is Case Baker. CaseOh started his life off in Dallas County, Arkansas. He spent most of his adult life doing hard labor, such as cutting grass, or even working alongside his dad as a maintenance man in a retirement home. And with how hard these jobs were, it led to CaseOh wanting to do something different with his life. So in September of 2022, this is when he decided that he would make a change, and CaseOh managed to accumulate over 15,000 TikTok followers literally overnight. This is when he knew that he actually had to start streaming. So the next day, CaseOh would spark his very first stream. And unlike most people who start their careers off by streaming to literally no one, CaseOh started his career off by streaming to an audience of about 70 people. And some of these viewers would even be extremely motivational to CaseOh as well.
Bro, I made my TikTok the night before last, out of nowhere, and I just started uploading. Bro, I'm streaming off a jetpack, like a Verizon hotspot. Like, my internet is too slow.
But this overnight success wouldn't end anywhere near here for CaseOh at all. Because after having an average of 70 viewers during his first ever stream, the next day he would average even more viewers, and even gained over 1,000 followers in that very first night. And by the time September 18th came around, officially 1 week after CaseOh had started his streaming career, he had a total of over 8,000 followers on Twitch, and even averaged over 470 viewers per stream. Think about that. The feeling of having almost instant success early on in your content creation career. I mean, most streamers grind every day for years and still can't even get 10 average viewers. Meanwhile, CaseOh managed to gain almost 10,000 followers in just his very first week. And all the success that CaseOh saw very early on in his career came from a popular game called NBA 2K, which I've covered numerous times on my channel. So if you've been here for a while, you know that this game doesn't last long at all. 2K is the type of game that's very popular when it first releases, and within the first 2 to 3 months, the game is completely dead and no one watches it anymore. And CaseOh would have to learn this very quickly early on in his career, because when he first started blowing up playing 2K, he was averaging anywhere from 800 to 900 viewers every day. But over time, that number started declining more and more, up until the point where he only averaged about 100 to 200 viewers per night.
And I also knew that, 2K is good, it'll be popping for a couple months, and then it'll die down. I was like, I gotta do something different or it's gonna go under. You know what I mean?
So it was clear that CaseOh was gonna have to quickly find something to do other than play 2K on stream. And CaseOh decided to make this change around the same time that the new Harry Potter game was releasing. And CaseOh was smart enough to know that it would be very beneficial for a smaller streamer to play a new game as soon as it releases, in order to get views from a whole new community who's interested in that game. So when this game originally dropped, CaseOh streamed it a little bit and ended up posting a TikTok dedicated to the new game. And that TikTok alone ended up being one of CaseOh's biggest TikToks to this day. When he saw the numbers he was doing solely from playing Hogwarts, this is when he decided to finally retire from 2K, never to really play it on stream again. And this would end up being the turning point in CaseOh's career. When he was playing 2K every day just a few weeks prior, he was seeing his career on a literal decline. But once he took the risk of trying out something new, it ended up working out tremendously, and his viewership would quickly shoot back up. Once CaseOh went viral, people started comparing him to another popular streamer who went by the name of LosPollosTV, because they did have a similar style of content. Like, obviously they both started their careers off by playing 2K, and then the running jokes within both of their chats were obviously fat jokes and things like that. So, of course, to people on the outside looking in, it was very comparable to the career of LosPollosTV. I even recall Your Rage putting out a tweet about this like a year or so ago when CaseOh first started really blowing up. Rage tweeted something like, "Bro, Los Polos is the blueprint for fat white people." And many people at the time agreed with that. After a while, as fans continued to make these comparisons and things like that, even Los Polos himself started to develop a very one-sided beef with CaseOh, because it got to the point where even he felt like CaseOh was copying his career.
There's a dude running around the internet right now who, for months or years, I don't know when it started, bro. He watching my stream, and a dude copied my stream, the way I act, the way I talk, whatever, okay? That was all straight ripped, copied, not his personality.
Now, there were a few similarities between the two creators when CaseOh first started his career, but I genuinely don't believe that CaseOh started out thinking, "Oh, I'm just going to copy exactly what Los Polos did." Maybe he was a Los Polos viewer and gained some inspiration from him, but I honestly don't think his intention was ever to copy him. CaseOh never even responded to any of the claims or rants made by Los Polos. In fact, he's done a pretty good job of staying out of beef, drama, and things like that throughout the entire course of his career, which is another reason why I feel he's managed to be successful for so long, despite blowing up overnight. Now, talking about CaseOh's collabs, the only creator I remember CaseOh having a collab with was Jinxie. It seemed like the two of them became pretty good friends very quickly because they were blowing up around the same time on the internet. They were both gamers who really gained a lot of popularity from TikTok and things like that, so obviously there was some form of mutual connection there. But we're now about 2 years into CaseOh's career, and he's still averaging numbers that are out of this world. Unlike many streamers, he doesn't have to do IRL streams, go outside, or harass people just to get views. He can simply sit in his room, play any random game, and still manage to pull in 40,000 to 60,000 live viewers. It's honestly insane. I've never really seen anyone else do anything like it before. Even Kai Cenat would agree that CaseOh doesn't really get the credit he deserves.
I love CaseOh, bro. CaseOh is so amazing that he's in his own lane, and I feel like people tend to forget about him. Like, that ass. Like, speak more of CaseOh. I think we need to speak more of CaseOh, you feel me?
But as of recently, more and more people are starting to become familiar with CaseOh, and now they're finally giving him the respect and credit he actually deserves. At the recent 2024 Game Awards, he ended up winning Content Creator of the Year, and at QT Cinderella's Popular Streamer Awards, he also won Gamer of the Year. Two very prestigious awards that highlight just how far he's come in both his streaming career and within the gaming community. And these weren't just some small-time awards where he was up against lesser-known creators. In the Gamer of the Year category, he beat out top streamers like Clix, Kai Cenat, and even his good friend Jinxie. Since then, CaseOh has continued to thrive in his career, which is extremely rare. Like I've said before, you don't often see a creator blow up overnight and manage to maintain this level of success for as long as he has, even though it's still very early in his career. I mean, just in 2025 alone, he's already gained over 300,000 followers and is averaging more than 57,000 live viewers. And seriously, how CaseOh handles his career is totally commendable, because think about how many content creators or influencers we've seen blow up rather quickly. I mean, look at the Tuah girl, for example. She literally blew up overnight, becoming one of the most popular people on the internet in the span of a few days. Then, a few months later, she does this big crypto scam, and now her career is basically over. Well, anyways, back to CaseOh. He is one of the viral streamers right now, and you all know him very well. If there's one thing to take away from CaseOh's story, it's this: going viral is easy. Staying relevant, that takes skill. Well, thanks for watching. If you want more stories like this, so don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. The next big streamer, we might already be working on their story